Hi everybody, it's Mr. D at In the Middle with Mr. D1 at blogspot.com, and I have teaching tips for Lesson 14, Day 1 of my sight singing program S Cubed, available on Teachers Pay Teachers at Music in the Middle with Mr. D. Today is a really key day. We're teaching two brand new concepts. We're skipping the normal group rhythm exercise in order to spend a little more time introducing these concepts. So the first concept that I'm going to introduce is key signatures, and I'm going to prepare them for it. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to have a written warm-up. You can do it orally as well. It's in the lessons you choose. Basically asking them a question about explaining, they need to explain to a non-music reader how they have been taught to find do up until now. So I defined that in earlier lessons, and so they have to teach it to me. So today, when I taught the lesson, I had a child come up and teach it and draw or they could draw. I told them they could draw. They could use the charts in the room, and they could explain it, but they had to do it in a way that I would understand if I were a non-singer, non-reader, and that's what they did. So it was very interesting to hear that process and to watch it and to see them try to work through it. But they did a good job. And then after that, I'm going to show the next slide, which is just a key signature definition slide. And I have them read it silently. It's in the lessons. You can use it in yours. They read the definition, which basically tells them about flats and sharps and where the key signatures are located. And then I immediately recommend that you have them pull out some real music once they've read it. First you say, I told them today that the way they've been finding do is the easy way. I called it sort of the baby way, the third grade way, the fourth grade way, or whatever. And now that they're in sixth grade, I'm having them learn the grown-up way. And we're in Atlanta, so I said at the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra, they don't get a dot with someone telling them this is fa, now you find do. They use the key signatures. So then I had them look in real music. I used 3 examples. I found one with some flats. I found one with some sharps. I found a song that changed key signatures, and I pointed them right to the measures. I asked them to raise their hand when they saw the key signature, and then I asked them if it had sharps or flats in it, just so they'd recognize it. That's all I really wanted to accomplish today. And then I even showed them one in the key of C, so they could see that sometimes there are no sharps or flats, and I told them I was going to teach them that later. That was the easiest one. And then after they identified those, I went right into the chromatic scale, and I stood in front of them. So I signed the chromatic scale, which I'm including a separate video for that. So you can use the signs if you want that I use. I signed them silently, and I had them copy me, up and down. I wrote on the board this, using all of the ascending words to the scale that I use, and I'm going to leave it there. I used the descending. I have that arrow pointing up and down so that they can see the ascending and descending. And then I sang it for them, and they're just listening, and they're always blown away by how difficult it seems to be. And then I told them they're eventually going to sing that chromatic scale in tune for me, and then I jumped right into the game. No pause. I sang the forbidden pattern of the day. They sang it back. I told them to really listen today to make sure that they are singing in tune, that these are very difficult to sing. I threw out at them that the major scale that they learned before. I asked them the question, where were the half steps, to see if they remembered, and they did. Mi, fa, ti, do. And then I said the chromatic scale is extra hard because it's all half steps, up and down, so I just threw out all that. But then we just sang and sang. When I played the game today, I did things like do, di, do, like that. I just sang all of the different chromatics. I didn't do any major scale. It was all chromatics. And I kind of ascended the scale. Do, di, 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 re, 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 mi, mi. And they would sing it back in that way. Then I descended. And then I threw the forbidden pattern in as well, because they're so focused on getting the pitches. It's a distraction technique of its own. So once that was complete, we finished the game, I went right into Follow the Hand. Do, and I had them sing it back, and we did the skips. Now that's a tricky transition, going from do to mi after singing all those, for example. And they just reviewed all the skips, getting them back into their ears. It's been a couple of days since we did the last lesson, weekend and all of that. And then I made them sing a scale and go right into the sight singing example. And the sight singing example today has some definite patterns in it. And it's in the lesson on Teachers Pay Teachers. Has some definite patterns. I asked them to identify the patterns. We talk about the rhythmic pattern, which is 4 measures long. I have them identify the pitch pattern. There's one pitch pattern in it. And then I asked them if it had a key signature in it, because I want them to look and see if they've, had to deal with that yet. And they, of course, say no. But I'm just going to throw out the key signature word over the next couple of days and have them start to identify a little more on day 2 and day 3 about key signatures. Just looking, knowing where they're located, and finding out later on. You'll see tomorrow what's in the lesson. So that's what we have for Lesson 14, Day 1. Please check out my sight singing program on teacherspayteachers.com, Music in the Middle with Mr. D. It's a complete program with all of the warm-ups that you need, all the sight singing examples you need, and even the teaching tips. All right, have a great day.